Money is in the hands of the righteous, the people rejoice. Well, we also are fiduciary investment advisor representatives. That means that our firm makes a pledge to always act in your best interest. Go to BibleSafeInvesting.com, download a free copy of my book, Faith-Based Investing, or call me at 931-RETIRED. And please don't forget, listen to Faith-Based Investing this weekend right here on Family Talk.
Gary, how do you and your team help our listeners avoid probate?
Well, first of all, probate is a process that involves attorneys, judges, and sometimes contesting parties. And so we try to avoid probate at pretty much all costs. The way we do that is setting up living trusts, setting up properly documented wills, putting the property like houses, cars, bank accounts in that trust so that it avoids probate. Probate is only necessary if the estate plan isn't set up quite right. So we help them get it set up right. And mainly that's done through a properly created living trust.
Call Gary and the team at GQ Law, 855-500-TRUST, or go online and download Gary's free ebooks and videos. Read Gary's blogs. Call or click to request your free initial consultation. That's gqlaw.com, 855-500-TRUST.
Who will you trust with the biggest financial decision of your lifetime? If you're planning to buy or sell a home in San Diego County, do what I do and work with the true San Diego real estate experts. Ken Pecos and the Pecos Group helped me and my family. They can help you. This is Gary Quackenbush of The Word on Wealth. You hear Ken every week here on The Word on Wealth. He's our expert. He's got integrity, exceptional service, deep knowledge of the San Diego, Coronado, and South Bay regions. These are just some of the reasons that Ken Pecos has completed hundreds of transactions. He manages a powerful team of professionals at the Pecos Group. From single-family attached homes to luxury high-value waterfront properties to apartment buildings, Ken Pecos is ready to help you avoid problems and costly mistakes. Learn more online at kenpecos.com. That's Ken Pecos, Pecus.com. Or call 619-977-8419.
DRE number 010566969, brokered by eXp Realty.
For the legal help you need, call Gary and the team at GQ Law, 855-500-TRUST, or go online and download Gary's free ebooks and videos. Read Gary's blogs. Call or click to request your free consultation or to talk with a member of the GQ team. That's gqlaw.com, 855-500-TRUST.
You're listening to Finding Joy Friday here on the Word on Wealth Friday edition, and we are so pleased to have with us this wonderful volunteer from Hope for San Diego. Hope for San Diego, we have with us Susie Fikse. Susie, I want to ask you a couple more questions about your organization. I love how it's an opportunity where people that really have a heart where they want to help and they just kind of get stumped, because I know that's something personally I love to help with things like that. I do get stumped. I work with an organization. Sometimes we have volunteers and we go, okay, we're looking for a group service project to deal with some of these very specific needs. And we have 8 people or we have 80 people. And it's like, it's really, really hard to figure out what to do. I mean, when you're helping the refugees, like, okay, how do we help them? Well, we have our old furniture that we don't need anymore, and we can go drop it off at a storage unit here in Southeast San Diego and drop all this stuff off. I mean, we've been doing things like that, but it's like, little piece here, little piece there. And this excites me that there's Hope for San Diego, that an organization called Hope for San Diego, that we can actually get into this and really help out. So tell us a little bit more about when people volunteer and they say, okay, I'm going to call Hope for San Diego. What are the range of things that people could be doing because they're now partnering with you or asking for your help?
Right. I think there's so many things, right? And there is hope. And I think that's where we love to see that there are glimpses of light breaking through in these dark issues, right? And we can be a part of that. And there are a lot of very specific needs. There's also, I was talking to a woman today who is in the tech industry, and she's like, I would love to come alongside an organization and help them, find resources and get them up to speed on technical aspects that would improve their nonprofit. And so we offer, opportunities like that if the volunteer's interested in just using their vocational skills. We have dentists and doctors who connect with our affiliates and serve, populations that don't have access to those services. So, but if groups want to come, we have, for instance, this Christmas, we're setting up lots of opportunities to serve meals, to help with Christmas parties with tutoring organizations, deliver food and meals, create, Christmas party. I mean, there's just so many things that we can do. And as people, either they can sign up for the opportunities that we have available. And often people will just email us and say, hey, we have a group, we'd like to set up an opportunity to serve. And we can try to plug them into something that's actually really useful and needed. Because we really like to honor our affiliates and say, hey, we don't want you to create a volunteer opportunity for us. We want to do something that's really needed that will serve the bigger cause.
Okay. So I know we have a very diverse and big listening audience that eats this kind of thing up because people want to help. And so probably the easiest, I guess, the way to communicate like that we need help, or I have a small group, or we've got 8 people, or I've got 10 or whatever, where would we email? Would it be to hopeforsandiego.org? Is it Susie at hopeforsandiego.org?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Susie at hopeforsd.org.
Okay. Susie at hopeforsd.org. Okay. That's wonderful.
Right. Right.
Okay, good. Now, one other thing, I'm trying to get a visual on this. I think when we talk about homelessness, we see it, we kind of go, okay, there's got to be something. We talk about that. It's in the news all the time. Refugees, immigrants. Okay, there's some controversy. Is that really good? Is that not? There's centers that are set up where I can go with my children and my grandchildren. One Christmas, we tied blankets, and so we went down and they let us into the place. They showed it was what we delivered the blankets. It was really super fun. And then foster care, I understand how that system works. I've dealt with it as an attorney. But then you get into the stuff that's really like, you hear about it, we know it's there, but it's like, what can anybody do about like victims of sex trafficking? How does Hope for San Diego deal with that population?
Right. And that it's so sensitive, right? Because you really need a lot of training to work with someone who's coming out of that kind of traumatic experience. And that's why, we do support these organizations that have the social workers on staff. And so we give financial grants to them. I mean, that's honestly for sex trafficking in particular, that is one of the greatest needs, is just the funds to support the staff that really has the expertise. But we come alongside them, honestly, at Christmas time, one of the fun things that we do is have the residents of these recovery homes give us a list of things that would bless them at Christmas, right? And we can provide some gifts. We can come alongside the homes and provide just the basic necessities that they need to kind of keep going. There's also a resource center through Alabaster Jar Project that has support groups, and they have a clothing boutique. And so we take meals over there. We can go clean up the yard. We do that once a year. So there's lots of little ways you can get involved, even though there really is a high threshold for dealing with the women directly.
Mhm. Okay. That's cool though, because see, that's the thing that we need to talk about is like, how do you get involved? And for some people, if it's just money, if it's putting in a credit card number, if it's making a monthly donation, that's totally cool. They just don't know how to do it. So now Hope for San Diego is this organization where if you want to get involved in this, you pay your tithing at church, you do your donations, you volunteer your work, you do the spaghetti dinners, you help out at Christmas. And now you're talking about how do I help these organizations that are really difficult to help because of the level of competency that's required. And it may be money. And we can do that through Hope for San Diego. Is that correct?
It is correct. And we, one of the things that I love, and I think people trust us, because we really do a lot of vetting and get to know these organizations over a long term. We're not kind of, oh, here's a grant and next year we're on to the next thing. We're really building these long-term relationships and sending money and volunteers and supporting the leadership. And we make grants every year to our 11 affiliates. And in the last 5 years, we've given $1.5 million to those organizations to support their ongoing work. And so Hope for San Diego hopefully is a really easy way to give to citywide causes. If you don't have a pet cause, we are dealing with a lot of different organizations that we think are really great and are worthy of your investment.
Okay, I love that. It's wonderful. Tell us about your December event with Hope for San Diego.
Yeah, we're super excited. It's a collaborative event with a bunch of organizations, including several churches, Flourish San Diego and the Table Art Society. But we're bringing together people to just really show our community kind of a beautiful, positive vision of who Jesus is and who the church can be. And we're bringing together live music and a marketplace and our art installation and kids activities, all to show that at Christmas we know that God came to earth in a very ordinary way, and we can serve him, love him, worship him through our work, through our art, through beauty, through nonprofit organizations. And the work of the marketplace will 10% of the proceeds will benefit Hope for San Diego, but all of it really is about how can Christians be for the good of our city.
Hey, tell us who gets to go and when and where.
Yes. Anybody can come. Everybody's invited. It's in North Park.
This is your free plug, Susie.
Park,
Go for it. This is your time.
Community Park near the water tower on December 9th, Saturday, December 9th, 1 to 5 p.m. And we're super excited to welcome anybody. It's a great place to take neighbors and just have fun and experience. Really, it's a place, hope, right? We talked about hope, and it's a place to see the hope of all the good things and the beautiful things that God's doing in our city.
Okay, so in Balboa Park specifically, where again?
It's actually at North Park Community Park.
Okay.
And it's right near the water tower on Howard Avenue.
Okay, got that. North Park Community Park, Howard Avenue. I just want to make sure, because after you're done, I get to repeat this about 100 times because I really think this is cool.
Great.
Park on Howard. Okay, good. All right. And feel free to send me your information on that and I can put it up on my website.
Perfect.
That's cool. No, we love this kind of organization on Finding Joy Friday because as people really, we want to be able to help. And one of the things that I have learned over years is if people are independently suffering from whatever it is, whether it's a physical ailment or maybe they have a mental condition or a mental illness or something they're dealing with, reaching out to others and serving others who are struggling is healing balm for people. And that's why this kind of stuff, we love to bring this up on Finding Joy Friday, because it's like, this is really awesome. I love it. Tell us about, is there anything about your organization that might surprise people?
I think what's unique about, there's not another organization like ours that I know of. We're really kind of this web of relationships because we know that, every issue in the city is so big right? And every church wants to do something. So many individuals, people with their money want to do something, but we can do so much more together than we can individually. And that's what I just love, bringing all these organizations, churches, individuals, donors, nonprofits together to share practices, to encourage each other, and to just do more and have a greater impact together.
Okay, I think that's really wonderful. What a great cause. I'm taking notes. There's a lot of silence on my show because Gary takes notes on things so he can bring it up a little later. So I appreciate that.
Great.
Okay. So I've always thought, especially in Christian communities, because, there's like, we just had a pastor's appreciation breakfast that KPRZ sponsored, and it was at this wonderful Christian community church. And there were about 100 different pastors from all different congregations, denominations, all together. And the whole thing was, guys, we are Christians, we can work together. And I think that's what's wonderful. Hope for San Diego, you guys. I'm gonna give you the email again after the break. Thank you, Susie, for being here. I really appreciate it.
We've got
Great to be with
answers.
you.
This is the Word on Wealth with Gary Quackenbush of GQ Law
Sorry, GQ, I got a little distracted.
of Mind with expert estate
Experts here to serve you and make your financial life just a bit easier. Shane Sletter is our new mortgage and home finance advisor here on the Word on Wealth. Be sure to listen every Tuesday at 2. Have your questions ready and learn how your current home and real estate investments may just be the most important game-changing keys to your financial future and retirement.
Thanks so much, Gary. I'm part of a team and a family serving our San Diego area neighborhoods for decades. We're your neighbors, and we have one goal: to provide financing that will fit your short and long-term financial objectives with outstanding personal service. Learn about what makes us different at SanDiegoMortgageNews.com or call us now at 858-683-1716.
Discover Shane Sletter at Team Sletter at RWM Home Loans at SanDiegoMortgageNews.com. Licensed with the state of California. NMLS ID number 239958. DRE number 01174642.
With SRN News.
Tell a friend about this broadcast outreach. The Word on Wealth with Gary Quackenbush of GQ Law. Call or click to request your free initial consultation or to talk with a member of the team. Call Gary at 855-500-TRUST. GQLaw.com.
Wasn't that fun? I love Finding Joy Friday, where we have volunteers, volunteer organizations, nonprofits, mental health professionals that help us to do things that really help everyone and help our own personal mental health by volunteering and helping. We just had the privilege of talking with Susie Fikse. She is with Hope for San Diego. Probably the best way to find out the way it works, besides listening to this great show with Susie, is to go to their website. It is hope for, so FORSD.org, hopeforsd.org. And you can look, you just can search Hope for San Diego and it comes up as hopeforsd.com. And their website is very simple. It's straightforward. It's super well programmed. It has opportunities. It has link where it talks about what opportunities are, upcoming events. You can filter by the event type, whether you want to volunteer or be part of an event, development. And then it has the different things that are going on in the organization, which is just super cool. So I encourage you to do that. I know a lot of us are involved in church groups, youth groups. Just try to find something to do if you're in retirement and you want to do something, that's going to be really helpful to the community and help our community be a better place, even better than it is. Then Hope for San Diego might just be your ticket. hopeforsd.org. If you want personal attention, it's Susie, SUSIE, at hopeforsd.org. Terrific. Love it. And some of the stuff that she was talking about too is, helping with the homelessness, homeless population. How do you help them? I mean, it's, we're not going down and, pulling them out and putting them into homes or anything like that. It's providing resources for professionals that know exactly what they're doing. It doesn't have to be hands-on, although it could be. One of the things that one of the church groups I belong to, we go down regularly. In fact, our organization goes down once a month, and they go down once a month and work at the Ladle, which is in downtown San Diego. And there's a community church down there that puts on meals for the homeless population, and they do it every week. And our group goes down about every month. I go down maybe twice or 3 times a year. They have, you can donate clothing and they hand it out to people, and they're very organized. It's for the homeless population. They'll provide haircuts, they'll provide some medical attention, they provide clothing, and they have to behave, and they have to make promises on what they're going to do with the food and the clothes and stuff like that. So I love being part of that. And that's some of the stuff that Susie was talking about. You don't have to know where all that stuff is. There's a lot of organizations, 10,000 nonprofits in San Diego, 10,000. That means there's a lot of organizations out there trying, but how do they get your attention? How do you know who's going to be helpful? That's what Hope for San Diego does. Kind of like your liaison between the organizations, the organizer, to put it together. So thank you, Susie, for being on. And we will have her on. Absolutely. We will have her on in the future. So you can call up and ask very specific questions. I mean, I was, for one, you hear about the sex trafficking and how horrible that is. It's sometimes children, sometimes it's adults, but it's just this horrible situation for people. And I mean, what do you do to help? Support law enforcement? Yeah. I mean, that's part of it. They don't have all the time in the world, to take care of all the different situations, but that's one that you hear about. It just isn't as visible as it should be. And we can basically provide funding for that. So that's an easy one. If you got a few extra dollars, Hope for San Diego, it's a really easy way to go to the website, go to their donate page, and it asks what you're donating for. And you can click in and make a one-time gift, become a partner, all kinds of things. All right. I would like to provide a little bit of information. There's some situations that we've been coming up against, as you can imagine. I mean, every day in my job, we are dealing with people that have passed away, the money that they leave, the property that they leave, the situations that they leave, the family that they leave. And we are dealing every day with how to resolve family situations. When the parents are gone, how do we get the kids to cooperate, to provide the stuff that's legally required to be provided, a lot of stuff like that. So what I think would be helpful is a couple different things. It's worth talking about on the radio. I have had people argue with me over the years over whether they should have co-trustees, co-power of attorneys, co-healthcare power of attorneys, because they don't want to decide on one person. They don't want to overload one person. They don't want to trust the one person. They don't want to favor one person or disfavor the other. And I get that. I understand those reasons, but I am just not a big fan of co-trustee, co-successor trustee, co-health. I'm just not a fan of co. Recently ran into a situation where I was contacted, and the person had a power of attorney. They really wanted their two kids to be deciding, they wanted to be together, deciding, when to remove the life support and whether there's going to be organ donation or not. And these things that you list out in your health directive on what your desires and intentions are. Okay. The problem is some organizations will allow co-health people. Okay, good. But some won't. So my opinion is, if some will and some won't, when do you want to get into that fight? Do you want to kind of say, well, this will work most of the time, and I'm willing to fight if it doesn't? And I say, heck no. When you're in this situation where you're having to make health decisions for a family member, a friend, a parent, somebody that's listed you as their health power of attorney, the one that's going to be making the decisions when you can't speak for yourself, that's not a time to run into a legal issue where somebody says, well, our form requires only one, and we can only put one in the system. And you guys, I don't care if it's a legal limitation or it is a software limitation. I really don't believe that when the time comes, I don't believe you want to be in a position where you're fighting over legal issues. I mean, to me, and maybe this is naive, but I think, who cares whether you have the right to name two people as co-healthcare decision makers? To me, it's like, who cares what the law says? If you're in that situation and the medical facility that's trying to make the decision on whether to, apply life support, remove life support, organ donation or not, if that organization's policy is, I'm sorry, we only have one at a time. So if there's two people, just put one and then the other, choose whichever one's first and whichever one's second. Why would you fight with that? It just doesn't make sense. There's just certain things that are not worth the fight. I have never found, in doing 35 years of this stuff, I have never found children that were offended because their parents named their older brother, their younger brother, their older sister, their younger sister, their richer brother, their poorer brother, their smarter brother, their dumber brother. When the time comes that your successor trustee, your healthcare power of attorney, your financial power of attorney, when they are doing their job, people really don't care that they were named co with somebody, or that they were over somebody, or they're in charge. It really doesn't matter. And I'll tell you why. Okay. True story. This guy becomes the power of attorney. He's named by his father as the successor trustee in dad's trust. So dad says, hey, I want you to be my successor trustee because I think you handle money really well, and you do financial things really well, and you're good at making decisions, and you're a good leader, and I want you to do that. Okay. And this kid just happens to be the fourth of four, the youngest kid in the family. So the kid is thinking, well, that's like, wow, that's quite an honor. Thank you, Dad. You really trust me as your youngest child to be the one that's going to handle your money and your finances. And wow, I feel pretty good about myself and what's going on. Okay. Dad dies. We read the trust, and the trust says, yes, you, younger brother, will say Bob, is now the successor trustee. And he's thinking, I'm honored, Dad. I'm going to be Dad's successor trustee. And so he starts his work. Okay. After about, usually it's a couple of months into it. A couple of months into it, not a big deal. A couple months later, not a big deal. 6 months into it, you think things are kind of going okay. 8 or 9 months into this process, it does take longer than that. I'm sorry, it just does. You start to feel like there's a lot of work. And every time he talks to his siblings, there's always a question of, where's this? Where's that? How's that going? What's with that? Did this bill get paid? Why did I get this notice? Do you have your tax documents ready? Every time the family is together, every time there's a communication, there's always the, and he starts to realize, wow, maybe I'm not my dad's favorite. Maybe I'm the bratty one in the family, and he's trying to pay me back. Think about that. Coming up next, we're going to talk about co-healthcare power of attorneys, and we'll be back in just a moment.
You don't need to know everything. You just need to know where to find answers you can trust when you need them. Welcome to the Word on Wealth with Gary Quackenbush. We're here to help you build, protect, and transfer everything you've worked hard for with expert estate planning, trust administration, inheritance, and probate. Call Gary and the team at gqlaw.com, 855-500-TRUST.
So, Gary, we've talked a long time about estate administration. So what is that and why is it important?
Estate administration is the distribution part of estate planning. So when someone passes away and they leave money to beneficiaries, the property has to be administered. So it's like taking it from the decedent to the survivor. That's called the estate administration process. So usually you're going to have a successor trustee that's named in the trust. So have no idea what they're doing because they've never done it before. So then they call on GQ Law and we walk them step by step on how to be a successful and good successor trustee. We also do the required notifications. We notify the Department of Health Services and all the legal requirements so that they can have the estate administration done properly. We help successor trustees be successful.
Call or click to request your free consultation. gqlaw.com, 855-500-TRUST. gqlaw.com.
You've all helped support My Pillow in the
You're not alone. Ask for the legal help you need. Call Gary and the team at GQ Law, 855-500-TRUST, or go online and download Gary's free ebooks and videos. Read Gary's blogs. Call or click to request your free consultation or to talk with a member of the GQ team. That's gqlaw.com, 855-500-TRUST.
Right. Good to have you along. It's Friday, Finding Joy Friday here on the Word on Wealth. Monday through Thursday, we talk about money, your finances, your house, your mortgage, your reverse mortgage, your Medicare, Medi-Cal, those type of issues. And on Friday, we talk about Finding Joy Friday, where we get to deal with mental health professionals, volunteers, nonprofit organizations, people that are doing good for the world, good in the world and good for the world. And that's today. So today we had Susie Fikse of Hope for San Diego, which is hopeforsd.org. And she helped us out a lot on figuring out how we can volunteer. And whether it's one of you or 100 of you, there are ways to figure out how to get a good volunteer project and help some of these super needy populations that are underserved, and they can be taken care of and you can feel good about helping out, reaching out to those that need more help. So that's a super good thing. We are finishing up the discussion on power of attorneys. And I brought this up because it comes up a lot. And I get some pushback from clients over whether there should be co-trustees or just a trustee and then an alternate and a second alternate, a third alternate. And my vote is always name a successor trustee, name an alternate, name a second alternate, maybe a third. With healthcare, same thing. Name your healthcare power of attorney, then name an alternate, name a second alternate if you want to name a third alternate. But I don't like to do two at a time. And I've had some people that are really pushy with me on it. They're thinking, this is really what I want. It's what I want. It's what I want. The reason I'm saying don't is just from experience. And you may very well prove me wrong. Congratulations. I think that's awesome. In fact, I will tell you someone who did prove me wrong. And when he was a client of mine, friend of mine, back from our kids were in high school together, named Matt, and he gave me permission to share the story. It was he and his sisters, the four of them, were all co-trustees. The dad thought it was just, I just want all my kids to labor equally together in my vineyard of my estate and work together. And so they did. Matt was very hands-on. He was very, he just was a very hard worker. He did all the things that have to be done all together. So it's all four of them signed the agreement with me to hire me to do the work and my firm. All four of them went to the bank together. All four of them signed the application for the employer identification number together. All four of them wrote, any document that had to be written was signed by all of them. We had to do procedural notices. All four of them signed. We sold a piece of property. All four of them signed. I mean, to me, it was ridiculous how many times they had to do things all together because it's not their property. They are the trustees. And it's not like, husband and wife and one can sign and the other doesn't need to. They all had to be together to be co. And Matt told me it was actually good for them. They spent a lot of time together. They spent a lot of time talking and they got through it. And after about a year, everything was resolved. Everybody signed an agreement saying that Matt did a fine job, that all the other all the other trustees, all four of them did a great job and they were all happy with what was done. And they all kind of, waived any responsibility towards each other and all that. So it was really good. It was a great story. It was one of one that I have heard of. And I just think it's an anomaly. And I think it was wonderful. And I think it was a great experience for them. So kudos to Matt and his sisters for being a successful co-trustee situation. It isn't always that way. It isn't always that. In fact, what I run into more often than not is you have an issue where the co-trustees just end up really not liking each other because one has more time than the other. The one wants to push it faster than the other. The one wants to make a decision that the other one doesn't want. And when you have two, there's no majority vote. Two is you have to agree on everything. If there were three, then you can have a majority vote, but then you're voting on everything. So I believe it's the best to just put one and the other ones can watch because they have the ability to get an accounting, all the documentation, to see what they're doing, to keep track of things. They don't have to be involved in every single decision. They probably will be. What I've seen from my professional experience is probably 90% of the time, the successor trustee is constantly saying, I think we should sell the house. And here's all the reasons why. Everybody give me their thumbs up so we can move forward. I want to sell the dinette and I think we're going to get this much to you guys. And the successor trustees are like that, really chatty with their family and telling them what's going on. Probably, way over half of the time, the family says, okay, stop, just go ahead and take care of things. We trust you. Don't ask us every little thing. Just do it. We're fine. And I think after, 6 months, 8 months, 12, sometimes a couple of years of doing this, it's better to have one person that's kind of suffering through and the others can be his or her cheerleaders. The co-health thing, you're going to run into a problem with that. If I advise you to not do it and you do it, that's on you, because healthcare, most doctors, they just don't want two decision makers. They just don't. Why? I mean, they gotta have both of them in the office or both of them on the telephonic, and they have authority from both of them. So they just don't want it. It's not necessary. It's going to be okay. The family's there to consult the decisions. It's not like you get one, if you have one that's super overpowering, then maybe if this is you putting together your healthcare power of attorney, you're trying to decide which kid, and you got one that's like this super my way or the highway person, forget them. That's not nice. Get your more moderate child that's willing to negotiate or willing to at least communicate. If that's what you want. If you want the child that is really like, get out of my way, it's going to be my way or the highway, and you think that's great, that's the way you make your decisions, then there you go. But it's just got to fit your situation. There's no exact solution except don't do co. I know some of my clients are listening going, Gary, but you did co and you allowed it. I said, well, I didn't advise you to do it, but like I said, it's your choice and you can do it. Enough on that. All right. Situation. I got enough time to talk about this. This is important. So here's the scenario. Dad died 8 years ago. Mom died 3 years ago. When mom and dad got their trust 25 years ago, they got an AB trust because that's what they were told to do. They had a home and they had some money, and whoever put the trust together said, yeah, you should have an AB trust or an ABC trust. You have a trust that on the first death, it splits in half, and then there's specific rules on who can spend money out of the A trust and who can spend money out of the B trust. And it was done way back 25 years ago because we needed to do that to make it so there wasn't inheritance tax popping up all over the place. But since that rule has changed. Okay. So instead, what happened is dad died 8 years ago, mom died 3 years ago. Nobody did anything on dad's death. Please understand, if it's an AB trust, the trust requires the survivor, which would have been mom, to split the trust. 8 years ago when dad died, she was supposed to do that. So violated the terms of the trust by not making the split. Is that going to harm anybody besides yourself? I don't know. It depends on how the trust is drafted, how it's put together. But if it's put together for a particular reason and you're ignoring it, that's never a good idea. Mom died 3 years ago and all the property stayed in the trust, and there it sits. It's still in the trust. The house, there's a rental house. There's a duplex rental. The successor trustee is collecting the money and distributing it out to the beneficiaries in equal shares, and everybody is just happy as a clam. Here's the challenge. The day that mom died 3 years ago, the property was no longer under mom's social security number. It can't be because she's passed away. It now needs to be held in the name of a living thing or like a trust, right? So the social security number can't work anymore. So you can't have income under a social security number. You need to get a tax ID number. The reason you get a tax ID number is because you say that the trust is irrevocable. When it's irrevocable, that's the disposition of the property. So 3 years later, you still have the property in the trust. You never told the county assessor that mom passed away and the title changed to the kids or to the administrative trust. That's an event that's going to cause property tax increase. And you didn't tell the assessor for 3 years. They're going to go back 3 years. They're going to do the reassessment. They're going to bring it forward. And if you're really lucky, you're not going to get penalized, like severe penalties. But you could be penalized. So the thing is, the longer you wait, the more chances there are to get penalized. So you want to make sure that you get things done. I mean, if the trust says, when I pass away, give my property to my kids. If you're saying 1 minute, I can't really hear you. Okay. If you, so basically, when a parent passes away, when the title transfers, you've got to get on it. You've got to do that so you don't run into penalties. If the taxes are going up, they go up at the date of death. They don't go up 3 years later because you kept it in the trust that long. It doesn't work that way. So get your stuff done, get it done right, be a good successor trustee. And if you haven't been, let's just fix it. Let's just get it done. Don't cause any damages. Let's just get it done. Admit what we've done and get it done. I'd be happy to help you with that. 855-500-TRUST. Hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. And that I'll talk to you on Monday right here on the Word on Wealth. Goodbye, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Take care, GQ.
Hey, I'll see you later.